Hello and welcome to the June 27th Women in Product Toastmasters Club meeting. I am your Sergeant at Arms, Amy Kirkland, and I'm excited to introduce our topic of the day today, or our theme of the day today, which is using data as product managers. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once and it's not working out so well. Apologies. Okay, so our theme today is using data as product managers. Gathering and analyzing data is an important part of our role as product managers. There are lots of tools out there to help us gather and use data, and I'm looking forward to hearing how we all optimize our use of data in our roles. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our president, Erica Tamburo.
Thank you, Amy, and welcome everybody. We have a big celebration today. This is our last meeting of our first year as a Toastmasters Club. So congratulations, everyone, on a successful first year. You all rock. As we wrap up our first year, we have another celebration, and that celebration is that we've reached a great milestone together. We're now at 30 members, which is excellent, and we're growing. And thanks to all of you for creating such fun environments. People want to join us because we have a good time together and we learn together. And also thanks to Svetlana for helping our new members get on board and guiding them through the process. All right, so this is a great segue to saying hello to our guests. I'm going to go through our guest list here today. Guests, we invite you to say hello, tell us how you learned about the club, or share an exciting goal that you think that we can help you reach by joining us. Let's see, I have Kirsten. Kirsten is actually going to be onboarding as a club member soon, so we're going to celebrate. And you're already taking on a club role today. So.
I know, she's so awesome.
Yeah, oh, intro. Please meet the new people. Hi, my name is Kirsten Serena Archer. I am looking to get better at communication skills, so looking forward to giving speeches. And something unusual about me, I keep hedgehogs.
That is cool. I want to meet your hedgehogs. Welcome, Kirsten. We look forward to having you as part of the group. I have Shelly Kalish. Shelly Kalish, are you on today? No. Okay. Roxana. Okay. Divya. Am I saying that right?
Yes, that is right. Hi, team. Divya here. I'm a product manager at Teradata. I'm a platform product manager. I own the cloud security portfolio, and it was my first time participating in Women in Product conference, and that's where I learned about this Facebook group, and I decided to shoot out an email to Lori and Svetlana, and that's how I got the invite. My goal is I often find myself presenting to leadership of our company. And I definitely want to improve my presentation skills and communication skills, given that, I'm not a native English speaker. So I definitely want to get better at that and, give a more seamless presentations and more ad hoc presentations. So I guess the table topics will help with that. And I was a part of the Teradata Toastmasters Club at one point in time, but since everything went remote and I went on maternity, I've been on a Toastmaster break. So this is me re-entering Toastmasters. And an unusual thing about me is I am a dancer. So I don't know if that's unusual, but that's my hobby. Thank you.
That is super fun. I'm so glad that you found us. And I hope, you know what Toastmasters is all about. So I hope you find our club unique and aligned with what you're trying to do with your career.
Thanks.
You. Next on my list, I have Heather. Is Heather here? No. Amula. Am I saying that right?
Oh, I was on mute. Amelia.
Nice.
Hi,
Would you-
everyone. Yeah, I can introduce myself. I joined in as a guest during our last meeting. I am here to really improve my communication skills as I go on to excel in my career pretty earlier on in my product career. And so looking to just gather as many skills as possible. And so I just sent in my application. So I'll be hopefully joining on very soon.
Oh, excellent. We're glad that you're joining us and look forward to learning more about you and helping you along your path. Okay, I think I've said hi to all our guests. So guests, for those of you not familiar with Toastmasters, you'll get to see what our club meetings are all about. We invite you to join and participate in the table topics session where we have impromptu speeches. We invite you all to participate. And if you would not like to participate, you can let our table topics leader for today know. And at the end of the meeting, we'll say hi again and see how you enjoyed the meeting and if we can answer any questions for you. Let's see. I would like to welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Miss Jennifer Ginsberg. It's with great pleasure that I introduce her today. She's our club secretary, one of the most organized people that I know. She is currently VP of Business Solutions Product Management at AIM Specialty Health. This is a new adventure for her. She's also worked at TransUnion, McKesson, and MetLife. She loves the healthcare field. She's a great leader, a great mentor, and your Toastmaster of the day. Thank you, Jennifer.
Great. Thank you so much for that welcome and introduction, Erica. So for those of you who are a little bit new to Toastmasters, the Toastmaster of the day is essentially the MC for the meeting. So I'm your host. I'm going to help direct our speakers of the day today. And for those of you who are also guests who may not be familiar with this format, we have a series of prepared speeches along with functionaries that will help and do some evaluations to help us all become better speakers throughout the course of our meeting today. And then we have our table topics, which is ad hoc impromptu speaking, where folks will have an opportunity to answer questions related to our product management theme of the day. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and ask some of our meeting functionaries to introduce their roles. I'm going to go down the list. I'm going to have Elena do a quick soundbite about what a general evaluator does. And then I'll move on to Lori Edwards, who will introduce what the role of a grammarian is, along with our word of the day. And then I'll ask Melissa, our awe counter, to introduce herself, and then our timer. So we'll start out with Elena. Elena?
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here today. Happy Sunday, everyone. So as a general evaluator, I will introduce my evaluations team at the end of the meeting. We will have an evaluation portion of the meeting. And after all the evaluations are performed, I will just give you an overall on how the meeting went. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's go on to Lori. Can you please explain what your grammarian role is and introduce us to our word of the day?
Absolutely. So as grammarian, I am going to be using my active listening skills to look for any improper uses of grammar, but also any great uses of grammar and fun words and things that you all say, so I can report on that at the end of the meeting. That could be anybody that speaks. So mostly the speeches, but also in table topics and any of those things. I'll try to keep tabs on that. And our word of the day today, since we are focusing on data, is synthesize. So synthesize is a combination of ideas to form a theory or a system. And 3 examples of this used in a sentence are: doing product experiments helps product managers learn to analyze and synthesize information better. Another example of this is after synthesizing the data from our A/B test and our usability test, we concluded that option 1 was a clear winner. And the third example of this is you must synthesize one of each of these data points to be able to determine the best solution. So synthesize is our word of the day.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'm going to turn it to Melissa. If you could give a little bit of an introduction for yourself and your role as an odd counter.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa. The purpose of the odd counter is to note words and sounds that are used as crutch or pause filler by anybody who speaks. I'm going to start to do that starting right now. So I won't count anybody who spoke earlier because I didn't tell them what the rules were, but I will be listening to overused words such as oh, well, and, but, so, you know, also and I will also be noting any words that are repeated, such as this means, we say it twice. And at the end of the meeting, I'm going to report the number of times that each person had used these expressions. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa. And then last but not least, I'm going to have Carlene. If you could give a little introduction to yourself and your role as a timer.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Carlene. Today, I am going to be the timer for this meeting. So I'm going to keep track of time taken by each participant and give feedback using the timing cards when they reach their limits. The green timer card indicates the minimum time is met. The speaker should start wrapping up when the yellow card is shown, and the red card will be shown when the speaker reaches the limit. As the timer, I'll be timing the table topic speakers, formal speeches, and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards, as I mentioned before, which denotes specific times remaining. And just a quick overview for table topics, the speech should be no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I'll raise the green card. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, I will raise the red card. For icebreaker speeches, they should be between 4 and 6 minutes. So at 4 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 5 minutes, raise the yellow card. And at 6 minutes, I will raise the red card. And for standard speeches, those should be 5 to 7 minutes. So at 5 minutes, I will raise the green card. 6 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. 7 minutes, I'll raise the red card. And individual evaluations should be between 2 and 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the green card. 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I will raise the red card. So thank you, everyone. And back over to you, Jennifer.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so much, Carlene. And then last but not least here, table topics will be hosted by Ashley Lawson. Ashley, do you want to give a quick introduction to yourself and tell us a little bit about table topics?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashley Lawson, and I'm currently a product specialist over at Keller Williams right now. And this afternoon, I will be your table topics master. And the goal of the table topics session is to challenge us to improve our impromptu speaking skills, to give us the opportunity to formulate a structured answer to a question on the spot. I will say a question, pause for a few seconds, and then pick on someone to answer. And for you as the speaker, you will have 1 to 2 minutes to respond to the question. And to make this a little fun, we will also ask participants to vote for the best table topic speech. Madam Toastmaster, back to you.
Great, thank you. And then when we get to that section, Kirsten has agreed to be our vote counter. So we'll walk through some of those instructions a little bit later in the second half of our meeting. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our first speaker of the day. It is her icebreaker speech to Sam Doctor. She's been living in New York City for just over a year and has been working on product analytics. She has a great time connecting with women in product, and she would like to further her career in product management. She loves talking about fitness, design, food, and entertainment. So our first speaker of the day is Sam Doctor with her speech entitled, "What Do You Want?" Also, Carlene, this is her first speech. So her total time is going to be 4 to 6 minutes. All right.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to speak to all of you today for the first time as a part of this Toastmasters Club. For my very short couple years in product management, working in analytics, it's obvious customer feedback is important for product development. There are different sources such as first-party customer data, third-party demographics, qualitative studies, interviews, surveys, lots of different options. And there's different ways to access it, whether it's through the product itself, whether it's using cookies, going via email, custom studies, user-generated data. Again, the options are seemingly limitless. Data-drivenness is the blanket statement that product teams write on their t-shirts, chant, beating their chests, say it with pride. It seems like being data-driven is the key to success. Synthesizing the data, using it for different analyses, it's often viewed as the bread and butter for making a good product. But here's the question that I've started to think about. Is a product team that utilizes data in the product feedback loop immediately more successful? Does that immediately mean that you are going to make a great product? I think that there is definitely more to it. And I started thinking about this because recently I was tripped up by a question in an interview about what I do in customer research and in data. And it was phrased as users or customers don't know what they want. They have no idea what they're looking for. How do you find out what customers want? And I responded saying, what do you mean? I know what I want. I knew what I wanted for breakfast. I knew what I wanted to wear. I knew what I wanted in my coffee. Products solve problems. And I know when there's a problem. Customers should know when there's a problem. And that's what this product or a product should solve. But within the world of product development, this need doesn't necessarily exist yet. And that's when it clicked to me. I sometimes don't know where I want to go. I sometimes don't know what I want to buy. I sometimes don't know what I want in general unless I see or hear about it. And for the past year and a half, I've been poring over customer feedback, customer insights, customer data generated from people who are already interacting with the product. And that information, using the proper feedback loop, is incredibly helpful for product innovation, product development, product improvement. But what about creating something new? When you want to build something out of thin air, your simple, average, not very creative potential users or potential customers aren't going to be able to tell you what that is. And so recently I have been thinking about this potential gap, and I recently joined a new team at my company that looks at the information that can fill this need, looking at other sources or ways that we can collect information outside of just that normal feedback that you get from customers or users that you've already acquired. And we do this by plugging into the process upstream versus downstream, getting information from the internet, from social media, interviewing folks who maybe haven't interacted with our products before, and getting ways to understand their actual behavior, getting to understand what their potential preferences are, what their potential needs are without explicitly asking folks that you want to target. So essentially, this new team that I'm helping to build is filling, again, this gap in user feedback and in product development to understand what are the trends? What is it that customers would want? And on a larger product team that touts as being data-driven, it can be very easy to still gain that tunnel vision, be in that silo of looking at the same information over and over, doing things that may not necessarily be incredibly innovative. I think one of the reasons why I've leaned into product for my career, and particularly product management or design someday. Those are the goals. There's a big push to think holistically. You can't just look at one specific area of customer data or data-drivenness in product. You have to think about the entire picture, the entire journey, and folks who haven't even interacted with this potential product ever. Really, one question that you always have to consider is, what do you want? Madam Toastmaster, thanks everyone.
Awesome. That was such an amazing speech, Sam. And I love here that you're differentiating between something that people may not even know that they need and synthesizing data from all different perspectives upstream so that it can inform that innovative design. It's really a sense of inference, and it was such a great topic that I think is always sort of swimming in the back of our minds as product people. How do we go big? How do we know if it's something that's actually a product that people will resonate with people? So thank you for that. Absolutely
Thanks.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to introduce our second speaker of the day, Liz Barnum. Liz currently works at Facebook, where she's working on personalization for advertisers. Before that, she led a team at Instacart and founded their ad business. And prior to that, she worked at Amazon and various other startups and was a research analyst on Wall Street back in the 2000s. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our second speaker, Liz Barnum, with her speech about what I wish I knew about goals 10 years ago. Let's welcome her to the stage.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. On a day like today, where we're talking about using data as a PM, one of the most important parts of this is to make sure we're using the right data. And one way to do that is through goal setting. Everyone here, I'm sure, has set some kind of goals before, whether it's a New Year's resolution, team goals, maybe even the goal of landing that next promotion. And while we all have experience here, goal setting is full of nuance and really hard to do well. Yet it can have an enormous impact on how well your product strategy is received and how well your team performs. So first, let's take a step back. Why do we set goals? First, goals guide focus, and it's one of the most important factors in a multifunctional team succeeding together. A great goal prevents a PM from feeling like you're herding cats all day, because a good goal unites your team to move forward in the same direction together. Second, goals help you measure progress and communicate that progress upwards to leadership. And lastly, they're actually proven to help you succeed. Teams that put goals in writing are 42% more likely to achieve those goals, according to Gail Matthews, a professor at Dominican University. So now that we've anchored on why goals matter, let's talk about how we set them, because goal setting can be a minefield. There's a lot of mistakes you can make, because trust me, I've had my fair share of learnings in setting mediocre goals. So today I'll share a few lessons of things I wish I knew 10 years ago when I started in product. So my first piece of advice is don't set too many goals. This is a common mistake I especially see folks make early in their product careers. A great PM manages scope and is able to prioritize goals effectively to select just a few to be in focus. At one of my past companies, a bright and energetic new head of product came in. He was surprised that we hadn't made much progress in our top line goals. And when he dug into the details, he found across our entire product and eng org, we had so many goals that it resulted in an average of 1.5 goals per engineer. And each PM is spread across 10 engineers. So you can imagine how this just multiplies. He challenged us on whether we were really playing to win, on what really matters, and we weren't. And he inspired us to cut our goals dramatically. It seems silly, but it's really no joke. The rule of 3 to limit your goals to a maximum of 3 is actually incredibly effective at goal setting. It shows prioritization, yet comprehensiveness. And it's also just about as long of a list as people can actually remember. So a second common mistake in setting goals is setting vague, non-specific goals. Are you interested in being healthier? Define what healthier means to you and exactly how you'll measure achieving it, because it could mean losing weight, exercising more, or getting more sleep. In a work setting, it's a nightmare to reach the end of a quarter and lack confidence on whether you can call your goal achieved or not. And one way I've seen this materialize is with SHIP goals. These are launch milestones instead of measurement-based goals. And it's easy to gravitate towards tasks rather than outcomes, but you could be busy every day for 3 years and have no impact if you focus on tasks over outcomes. With a SHIP goal, you may launch something, but it may be a terrible experience, and it may even make business metrics worse. Avoid SHIP goals if you can, and if you can't, make sure you have a measurable quality bar attached to the goal. My third lesson in goal setting is goals should be inspiring and motivating. A part of this is making sure everyone understands the why behind the goal. The other part is making sure everyone on the team understands the goal deeply and is able to explain them themselves. I was on a team once where data science was pushing for a goal that was very technical and few on the team truly understood it. So what we did is we broke down this metric into its core components, highlighted the areas we could drive, and also dumbed it down to a one-liner that anyone could pick up and explain. We also used a goal map to ladder up this goal to the overall company priorities, so everyone knew how it fit into the bigger picture. My last piece of advice on goals is to make sure you have counter metrics outlined. And you may ask, what is a counter metric? Well, even if you blow your goal out of the park, your counter metrics are the ones you're committing to not regress on. They're balancing metrics. It's easy to move goals carte blanche, but counter metrics are important because they clarify what trade-offs you will not make upfront, and it removes tunnel vision so you can keep your customers' needs first. To close things out, goal setting is one of the most important parts of being a PM, yet it's one of the most hardest areas to do well. And whether you're setting personal or professional goals, you can create better goals and have a higher chance of achieving them if you avoid some common missteps that are avoidable. My top tips are to not set too many goals, try to stick to a rule of 3. To avoid setting vague, non-specific goals, attaining that goal should be binary. Third, make sure your goals are inspiring and motivating. Everyone should be able to explain them. And lastly, don't forget about counter metrics. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure to be here.
Wow, great job, Liz. I, again, knocked it out of the park. And, you know, when you think about even on your team or in your organization, synthesizing all of those goals and trying to come up with a top 3 is really, really difficult, to be honest. And then the other piece that I enjoyed was the counter metrics. I really appreciated that as well. So thank you again, Liz. All right, I'm gonna move us on to, oh, you know, I think every Toastmaster actually ends up doing this, and I did it again. Can we get 1 minute on the timer for our functionaries to be able to take notes, digest it, so that we have a chance for us to get some thoughts down for our evaluations for our 2 speakers. So just 1 minute on the timer there. Carlin A, thank you. All right. So with that, I'm going to move us on to our table topics. So I would invite Ashley, if you could come back up to the stage here and walk us through our table topics portion of our meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. All right, guys. So I mentioned this earlier. I do want to go ahead and say it again, but at this particular time, I'm going to be asking at least 3 of you a couple of questions and give you about 1 to 2 minutes to respond to that question. And Carlin, who has been doing a lovely job, is going to help me keep track of that time there. So to follow up to today's speeches that we had from Sam and Liz, I would like to ask 3 questions. So my first question is, what does using data as a PM mean to you? And for the first question, I would like Betty Young to answer that. And Betty, if you could show on up.
Awesome.
And that question one more time is, what does using data as a PM mean to you?
Awesome. Thank you for nominating me for this question, Ashley. So I'm a PM at Amazon, and how I use data as an Amazon PM is I would typically, before launch, we would launch the product to a number of Amazonians within the company. So we do beta testing, and we would grab volunteers from the group, anywhere from 200 all the way to 10,000 Amazonians to test the product with. And we would guide the user research questions with this methodology called the Product Tour methodology. And we would ensure that the user would utilize all of the key features and functionalities of the product. And if the product does not reach a score of 4 stars and above, it cannot release out to the public. So that is how I currently use data as a product manager at Amazon. And yeah, I hope I answered that question correctly. All right, thank you, Ashley.
Not a problem. Thank you, Betty. You did a wonderful job answering that question. All right, just 2 more to go through. So my next question is, can you describe how you synthesize data to make a decision? And for this answer, I'm hoping that Sarah Gagnon can respond.
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Would you mind repeating the question one more time, Ashley?
Yes, absolutely. My apologies. The question is, can you describe how you synthesize data to make a decision?
Fantastic. Thank you for repeating that. Recently, as a newer PM, I have introduced user behavioral analytics to our product, and I have been synthesizing the data to be able to better understand how our city residents will eventually be interacting with this data. I've been using it primarily on testers internally and a few externally. So I'm looking at primarily when I'm synthesizing the data and looking at it, rage clicks, dead clicks, heat maps as far as how far down the screen a resident might go. This gives me an idea of any type of issue that residents may be running into with the product. And it's about as close as I can get to actually doing shoulder surfing with real people. And that data, again, it's somewhat flagging to me, or it's a sense of a flag, so that we can be more proactive if we see an issue going on, that maybe there's a design change that's needed in the user interface. So that's primarily how I've been using data to synthesize on potential product problems. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that answer. All right, everyone. And the last question of the day, how does data help you navigate or explore ambiguity? And for this question, I would love for Manal to go ahead and answer. And Manal, as we're pulling you up one more time, that question is, how does data help you navigate or explore ambiguity?
Thank you for the question. Sorry, can you repeat it one more time? I had my volume a little lower.
Absolutely. How does data help you navigate or explore ambiguity?
Awesome. Thank you so much for repeating. So data helps navigate and reduce ambiguity by giving you more insight into what users need. I'm still very new to product management, but I'm going to answer this as best of my ability. And I feel like what data does is it gives you an idea of what the needs are, as well as where what is not being receptive by the customer or a user. And so by using data, you can gather information more quantitatively and also get an idea of what the trends are and better assess and make decisions. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it does, Manal. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. And in addition to Manal, Sarah and Betty, thank you very much for answering my questions as well this afternoon. And for everyone else, if you could please go ahead and send your votes over to Kristen to have those calculated. And Madam Toastmaster, I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Ashley. And just a reminder, the folks that answered today were Betty Young, Sarah, and Manal. So go ahead and send those votes on over. Now I'd like to invite our evaluators up to the stage for our general evaluator first. So if I could we have Elena please give us a readout as to how any observations you had for our club meeting and how we could potentially improve.
Sure. So now we're in our third portion of the meeting where we're going to talk evaluations and we're going to give feedback to our speakers and as well as going to see how we can improve on our meeting structure overall. So first we will have the evaluation section where we're going to evaluate the main speeches. Then we will move to what we call indirect evaluations, where we'll talk about timing, some ums and ahs, and all the fun stuff. And then we will wrap up this portion of the meeting with my own evaluation of the entire meeting. So with this, I would like to pass it on to our first evaluator. And I do apologize, can someone help me? Who's the first evaluator?
Yeah, our first evaluator is Erica.
Sorry, Erica, the mic is all yours.
Thank you, Svetlana, or Elena. Let me see. Can you guys pin Sam for me? Sure. Okay, there you are. Hello, Sam. Congratulations on your first speech with the club. You did an
Thank you.
So happy to have you join us and sharing with us. And it was a very interesting speech. You know your data, you know all the data. It's very clear. And you touched upon so many great things. I couldn't even make a list of all the great things that you did touch upon. So I look forward to watching this one again, actually. You had some really fabulous insights on data drivenness, where it works and where it doesn't. And I really love the reminder that customers do know what they want. They're not absolutely clueless. We're not all clueless. We actually do kind of know what we want. But how for us as product managers to approach that in a more mindful, holistic manner. So thank you for that. One thing you might want to consider working on is your eye contact. It did kind of pull me away from the speech a little bit. When you weren't always delivering it, you tended to look off to the side a lot. So just one thing to work on. And also as your icebreaker, I wanted to learn more about you. Like what's your path? I understand a lot of the data stuff, but it's also would have been nice to learn a little bit more about you and why you're just how you got here and where you hope to go. And one challenge, I did get lost a little bit in the structure of your speech. Sometimes less is more. So if you pick out, just kind of clearly identify what you want people to take away from your speech, it'll help you focus a little bit more, and it'll help your audience kind of move along the journey of your speech with you. You are super comfortable. You know your stuff. You had great vocal variety, and you were very clear, and it was a very interesting speech. So thank you for that. Good luck with your new team. Look forward to learning more about you and your path to product. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks so much, Erica.
Thank you, Erica, for your evaluation. Really enjoyed listening to it. And let's all remember how important it is to be able to receive feedback here. And this is what we'll hear, right? We want to hear how we can improve, take it in, and become a better speaker. So thank you, Erica, for that. With this, I will pass it on to our second evaluator, Anwesha. Please take it away.
All right. I'll just wait for Liz to be pinned so I can look at her. Awesome, I can see you. And for me, this was my very first time, and I feel privileged to be able to evaluate you because this was kind of like a learning experience for me as well. And that's key. Sometimes speeches are about empathizing, like there is a connection immediately with the speaker and the audience. Then there are inspiring speeches. And that's what I got directly from you. It's kind of not just inspiration, but it also made me think, made me learn certain things. So for me personally, the whole concept of goals is very, very important in my mind because I'm mid-career, I'm trying to figure out where I want to go. So part of what I was looking for during mentoring was to get something like this. And the speech hit me immediately. I can personally see how people like me who are in their mid-career or starting their careers can take a lot from you and learn new concepts, whereas other leaders who are also in here can absolutely learn new things to incorporate in their messaging, as well as kind of connect with the whole concept. And I love that it was perfectly distilled in terms of like the 4 specific points that you had. And you went back at the end and you reminded everyone when it came to that. And I love the way in which you deliver your speech. Like you actually look at people. And for me, when you were on screen, I was able to see that excitement when you were talking about it. And you added statistics, you added personal anecdotes, and made it so much more simpler for us to accept. Plus, I did take 2 different things I need to go back and learn more on. Goal maps as well as counter metrics. This was completely new. My only, for me, it was so perfect that the little distraction was when you were looking on your left-hand side. For me, it would have been 150% instead of maybe 120% immersion if you continuously kept looking at us. But other than that, I have so much to go back on and incorporate into my personal life. So thank you. Thank you so much for choosing this topic and helping us get better.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anwesha. Wonderful evaluation. I don't believe it's your first one, but I do know it's the first one. So great job. I'm impressed. Thank you for doing that. So with this, we're going to move on to our next evaluator, actually Grammarian-Lori. Looking forward to your report.
Thank you, Alina. So today I did pick kind of a challenging word for our word of the day, but it did go well with data. And 2 of you used it. So Sam, I can't believe you incorporated it in your speech, but great job. You got it in there. And Ashley also used it as well in the table topics. In addition to that, Sam, during your speech, the one thing that I absolutely loved was data-driven written on their t-shirts. Like, I think that everybody at my company would love to have a t-shirt with that, and it would be hilarious. In addition to that, you also said the options are limitless, and that kind of just like created this visual in my mind. There's like, oh yeah, they're like, you can literally do anything. So that was really great speech. In terms of misuse of language, I didn't personally hear any. So great job overall. Liz, in your speech, the one thing that I think everyone keeps mentioning, but I'm going to mention as well, is the use of counter metrics. Not only did you say it, but you also defined it for us all. So it was a new concept for a lot of us, but it was great that you actually gave us the definition with it. So that was something that stood out to me. And you also said setting goals can be a minefield. Minefield was such a great word. I actually had to take that as a takeaway, but good use of language there. And I'm excited to hear what else comes up. And those were kind of the things that stood out to me today. So thank you, and back to you, Alina.
Thank you, Lori. Wonderful report. But I do remember that Sarah used the word of the day as well. So I think we got 3, which is fantastic.
I missed one.
result.
Thank you.
I'm not sure. I'll have to reward the recording, but I think she did. And with this, let's move on to our accounter, Melissa. Melissa, looking forward to hear from you.
Hi, everybody. So I'm gonna just go down the list of names and as well as the words, the filler words that were used. For the first one, we have Jennifer. You said 1 and 1 and as a filler word. Caroline, 1 Ashley, 1 2 ums, 3 so's, and 1 and. Sam, I have you for 1 1 so, and 2 ands. Liz, 2 so's. Betty, 2 4 ums, and 2 so's. Also 4 ends. Sarah, 3 ums. Trying to count my check marks. 1 so. Minal, we have 4 ums and 1 so. Erica, we have 15 ums and 1 so. Anwesha, 1 so. Lori, 1 1 and 1 and. And that is all that I was able to catch. But everybody did a great job, especially speaking impromptu. So props to you all.
Thank you, Melissa. I can't agree more that I feel like everyone's improving and this is the goal. So fantastic. Let's move on to our next evaluator. So this time it's the timer report from Caroline. Please take it away.
Thanks, Elena. So I am going to be reporting back the times from each of the speeches, evaluations, and table topics. So for the prepared speeches, Sam Doctor had the icebreaker speech. Actual time was 5:34, so she's definitely within time. Second speech was the standard speech by Liz Barnum. She came in at 5:50, which is definitely within time. Moving on to evaluations. The first evaluation from Erica, actual time was 2:23, which is within time. And second evaluation was Anwesha at 2:17, which was within time. And then moving over to table topics, we have Betty Young within 1:18, so that's within time. Sarah at 1:25 within time, and Manal at 59 seconds and within time. So that's all the times for the report today. Thank you, and back to you, Elena.
Thank you. Thank you for your report, and congrats on the first time being a timer. Good job on that. So now it's the time. Now is the time to know who won the nomination for the best response for the table topics. So please help me find the answer. Yeah, Kirsten, go ahead.
Hi. Would you like best prepared speaker, table topics, and evaluator? Are we okay to do all 3?
No, it's just the best table topics answer.
Okay. in which case it's lucky position 2, and huge hats off to Sarah. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Kristen, for collecting the votes. So now we will move on to our final portion of the evaluations part, which is going to be my overall evaluation for the meeting. So good job, everyone, on starting on time. And our club's been doing a great job on being on time and sticking to the agenda. Thank you for doing so. Regarding the introductions, I was very glad to hear the introductions for the roles that people have within the meeting. I think it's a great reminder to have for the members of the club, as well as for, I mean, it's especially critically important for new members so they can follow along and actually understand what is happening. Regarding the evaluations portions, I think it's going to be really important, especially for people who are delivering their main speeches, not the icebreakers, to see what the pathway project objective is, and maybe talk more a little bit about that. I know that every speech within the pathway has their own sort of tasks. Sometimes it's research, sometimes it's the way you structure your speech and so on. And I highly recommend for the speaker, this is actually for everyone, the speaker can reach out to the evaluator before the meeting and ask to give feedback on a particular topic or area where he or she, well, in our case, she needs to improve on. And then you can collect feedback and improve on that better. Another thing that I would like us to challenge on is kind of remember that 1 minute after the first speech. I don't know what's been happening. But if you're
Every Toastmasters has done that, like, of the day. It's like the first one, you like forget it. And then you realize, ah!
I think it's a thing of our club. I think it's just going to stay this way. For some reason, it's just happening, but challenge yourselves. So next Toastmaster, please do so, and we'll all celebrate. Something else I want to suggest, it's not necessarily good or bad thing, is a suggestion. So when we have only 2 speeches, I think it would be much more entertaining and engaging for the club to have more questions within the table topics portion. We all like that part. We all like to be involved and challenge ourselves and answer the question. But when it's only 3, I feel like it was a bit too short today, only because, again, we had 2 speakers. Usually when we have 3, we can cut it short a bit, depending on how much time we have and whether we can stick to the agenda. But I feel like today we could have had 6 and we would probably be good on time. So please keep that in mind. And I encourage the next table topic master who's organizing the meeting to reach out to table topics master and just maybe brief her on what's the secret sauce and how to make it work. And something I actually picked up from Rita, she mentioned it last weekend, and I think it's such a great takeaway from all of us on how to deliver feedback in a positive way. When someone hears, oh, you had 15 ums, it's bad. Like it doesn't sink in. You're like, oh my God, it's so much. What Rita, I think, mentioned, she was like, oh, you had 6+ ums. I mean, the person's probably going to figure out that she needs to improve on it, but it doesn't sound as harsh. So I encourage you to think, this is just an example, but to overall think of that and be very mindful of that when you're delivering feedback, not to discourage people from participating, but it really helps them to still improve, but don't feel like they're called out on their mistakes in front of everyone, because it does not sound cool. But overall, I think it's a fantastic meeting. I'm so happy to see this many guests showing up. Thank you for doing that. I hope you enjoyed this meeting and sign up to be a member with us, and also seeing so many members on a Sunday. That's great too. So looking forward to more meetings like this one. And I'm gonna pass it on to our Toastmaster, Jennifer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Elena, for that excellent readout. It's all good stuff, and definitely taken in a warm way, because I know we're all trying to improve here as a club. And we've got new awesome functionaries that took on some new roles. So that's really amazing, and I love that. I love how our club is coming together. All right, so let's move along to club business. So I would like to introduce Erica, our fearless leader, our president, Erica and Tamburo. Could you please lead us through our club business?
Sure, I'd love to. Thank you, everybody. It was such a fun meeting. I would like to thank all of our guests for joining us. And I hope you have a better idea of what the experience of our club meetings are like. And I hope you enjoyed our table topics and our speeches. While all of the work we do as Toastmasters is meant to be challenging, it should also be fun. And I hope you had fun today as well. So I would like to change my view for a second here so I can see everybody. I would like to invite the guests to share what you enjoyed about today's meeting, if you would be so kind to let us know. So we have Divya. Would you like to share?
Hey, hi, Erica. Sure, thank you. Yeah, so I've been a part of other Toastmasters, but I think what I like the most is that you learn so much about product itself, right? And how product managers use data, because we constantly think about customer pain points. I feel like I understand the product manager's pain point as well, because there's a team here who understands that. So I love this. I love this so much more than the more generic product management. A lot of insights. Counter metric is my takeaway. I'm going to go look that up. So thanks, Liz, for that. Yeah, I hope to be an integral part of this team. Eventually become a member and maybe anchor my path to becoming a good product leader and great speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I do hope you join us again as a guest. And yeah, so let's see. Heather, I think Heather joined. There's Heather. Hi, Heather.
Hi everyone. It's nice to meet you. It's good to be here. This is actually my first Toastmasters at all. So it's really nice to see how you guys are bringing this together and then making it specifically about product and women in product. So I really enjoyed all of the speeches and the evaluations and then the table topics and seeing that there's a really good structure here. And so I'm looking forward to contributing, and also that I've seen some couple of familiar faces too, Lori and Margaret. So it's good to see you guys here. And thank you.
Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions at all, everything is, the whole meeting is designed for each specific role has specific skills that you can learn. If you have questions about the pathways, we would be more than happy to help you learn more about those as well.
Yeah, so actually, can I just ask you who would be good to reach out to or do I just download that from like the Toastmasters website, the actual structure of the meeting, so to understand how I would contribute?
So Svetlana is our master or VP of membership, and she can walk you through all that, or I'm happy to talk to you as well.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
You would talk to me about memberships, but I think what you're asking is what the structure of the meetings is. And that would be like the agenda that lays out basically the mapping of the meeting. And so we send those out ahead of every meeting. And then there's also a form you can fill out to block out when you want to give your speeches or when you want to take on roles. And so that gets announced at the end of the meeting. So you'll hear it shortly.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thanks, Alana. Let's see. Any other guests? Amulia.
There you go. I really love the topic for today, data, and how all the speakers, including the table talk speakers, were really able to
comment and share their insights on how PMs can really learn to use data in better ways and think about data more thoughtfully. And yeah, I loved hearing everyone's insights and comments, and it's great to see this kind of discussion.
Thanks so much. Okay. Well, I hope you all enjoyed. And if you'd like to join us again, let us know. Club business. So the theme of this month is lead. So last meeting we had our leadership. We had our voting and elected our new leadership. So I'm going to take another opportunity to thank all the leaders who spend a lot of time and energy to do everything that is needed to build the club and keep the club running. So thanks a lot to all of you and to our new leadership team. I have a couple of more announcements for today. Please join the club. For all the new members, please make sure you're on the club membership Facebook page. Our VPE Lori will share schedules and other important announcements for the club. And please be on the lookout for posts and give our VP of PR some love as she shares stuff with everybody. Svetlana is running the interview prep sessions, and it's a fantastic new resource for club members. So thank you so much, Svetlana. There are Wednesdays at 10 to 11 a.m. EST, and the next one will be June 30th. If you'd like to join, please reach out to Svetlana. And I would like to remind everybody about, I know it's a year from now, but Women in Product Conference, it's not too early to start thinking about, if you want to be a speaker, what you would like to present on, so that you can use it as one of your projects here for Toastmasters, and you can practice and start getting ready. So not too early to start planning. Just a reminder, and also for you new members, that we'll hold a speech competition. And Women in Product Toastmasters Club has a dedicated speaker slot at the Women in Product Conference, and the winner of that speech contest will go on to present at Women in Product. So it's a really great opportunity. We will have our Q&A open session following the next meeting. This meeting, we will have an onboarding session for all of our new members. We have quite a few new members, so pretty exciting to talk more with you guys after today's meeting. And what can we help you with? Let us know. The door is always open. If you need to learn about anything, or if there's anything we can help you with, please let us know. Don't be shy. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Lori Edwards, our new VPE, who will discuss meeting roles.
Thanks, Erica. So we all did our elections last week. I am now the VPE taking the ropes from Elena, so hopefully I can help us can continue her legacy and improve upon that. So first up, as Erica mentioned, we are doing an onboarding session today right after this meeting. So I'll be focusing and walking through pathways and stuff. So if anyone has questions, feel free to stick around and we will do that. But for the next meeting, the roles are out. Here's the doc that has the meeting roles in them. As you can see, there are some people that have requested roles. That is the best way to get ahead and plan your summer, is to fill out the form that I just put in the chat and tell me what you want to do. That makes my life easy. You can plan your life easier and take advantage of the summer as much as you can. Also, if you won't be able to attend a meeting, please let us know. It makes it a lot easier to, get ahead of the game a little bit. If you know you can't make it, that's totally fine. Just let us know so we can plan around it and make sure that we have somebody that can easily fill your role. In addition to that, a lot of you that are new, you probably got an email from me asking when you can do your icebreaker speech. I appreciate you all following up and getting those on the schedule. As for existing members that haven't given a speech in a while, you will probably also get an email from me soon poking you to schedule that next speech. I am one of them, so I had to also schedule my own speech, I realized. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. If anyone has questions about anything education-wise, product-wise, product theme-wise, feel free to let me know, ask. If I don't know the answer, I'm sure somebody in this group of 30 amazing plus women know it. So we can bring it up and have it as the next theme in the next one of the next meetings. So that is all from me. If you want to take a quick minute and fill out that form right now, just get it out of the way, we can do that. And then I'll turn it over to the Sergeant at Arms. Amy.
Lori, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How would you like us to let you know if we can't make it? Because I've been declining the calendar invites, but is there a better way, a more formal way to do that?
Yes, great question. If you could just email us, that would be easier. The calendar invites are a lot to maintain in general. So if you could just shoot an email to the Women in Product Toastmasters Club email address at gmail.com, that would be great. Or you can email me individually. That would probably be the best way to do it. Also in that form, there is a question that says like, can you not attend any of these meetings? So if you do fill out the form, there's a spot in there too. But yeah, email is probably the best way to make sure that we get it. The calendar invites go out to a lot of people. So that's why you all see updates. So if you decline it, it's kind of hard for us to kind of see that because not everybody also accepts it. So email is the best.
Thank you. Can you remind me what that email address is? Because there's several email addresses.
Yeah, great. I will put it in the chat.
And then is there a section where we can give general feedback in terms of, because I'm thinking about getting attendance up and what can we do to like keep that going, especially now that we're after the first year. So one of the things I'm wondering is would it make sense to shorten the meeting from 1.5 hours to maybe 1 hour or 1:15? That way everybody can still make their Sunday plans. This is just a suggestion and I am wondering if there's a place for that.
Erica, do you want to speak to that at all?
That's good feedback. So it's a good question. I think if we would want to look more into that, we could do a poll and see what the club thinks. Yeah, thank you for that feedback.
I would also say if anybody has general feedback too, feel free to email it to us in that same email. It's a group email address, so it'll go to myself, Erica, the leadership group. So any feedback, no matter what it is, feel free to shoot it over to us and we'll get it to the right person. Cool. All right, Amy, take it away.
Thanks, Lori. Thanks everyone for joining today. This was a great meeting and learning more about everyone's uses of data as product managers, and I really enjoyed the meeting today. And I will go ahead and stop the recording and we will be adjourned.